One of the most common pines in the northeastern United States, Pinus rigida, pitch pine, is found on some of the most barren landscapes anywhere. It occurs on very infertile, acidic sites that are very dry. It's also a fairly distinctive pine in that it's one of our few three-needle pines of the 100 or so pines in the world. It's not a particularly picturesque tree compared to eastern white pine and red pine. It's typically much more scrubby in appearance, sometimes only about 10 to 15 feet tall under some of the very worst growing conditions, or on better sites it can be a fairly respectable tree. So as far as the needle arrangements go, as a pine it has to have needles in a group or a fascicle, and for pitch pine there are always 3 needles in a cluster. Never 2s and 3s, always 3. And the needle color is very distinct. It's more of a yellowish green, and it's a fairly short needle. The cones are also very distinct in that they're variable in size. This is from the same tree actually, from another pitch pine, but they can be the size of a small egg or much larger than an egg. They're always flat-topped and they're heavily armed. They're very brown when they're fresh, and then with age they become very grayish to blackish. And you notice that they do not fall off the tree. The only way you get them off the tree is for them to eventually deteriorate or fall off the tree when they're very ratty. So they do tend to stay on the tree for 10 to 20 years. But when they open up, they have a very flat-topped appearance. The bark on pitch pine is distinct in having rectangular ridges that are quite thick. This is a very fire-resistant tree. It's in landscapes, especially New Jersey and the Long Island area, that once burned very commonly. And when they do burn, if you look up on the bole, this is one of the few trees that can actually sprout along the bole after the bole is damaged. It actually will sprout at the base if it's cut, something very unusual for a conifer to do. Not a particularly valuable timber tree, but one of our most valuable trees ecologically because it dominates landscapes that otherwise would have very few trees able to grow on it. Pitch pine, Pinus rigida.